The free $20,000 MLB 10 Runs for Free Cash contest is now live at SBRforum.com. What is the contest? It's simple. Each day in a designated SBR Forum post, you pick one team that you think will score 10 or more runs that day. You qualify to win $100 that day if you are correct. Each day the game continues, you pick another team. And every time your team scores 10 runs, you'll be adding onto your total score. The contest is split into 3 segments, and at the end of each segment, the top scorers split $2,500. And at the conclusion of the contest, there's even more cash up for grabs, in total over $20,000. And I know what you're thinking. You can just pick the Yankees every day and win. No, you can only pick the same team once per week. Check out the link in the description for more info and see you in the SBR Forum for the contest.
Folks, welcome into SportsBookReview.com. It is Wednesday, and it's time to talk some Major League Baseball afternoon card, evening card. We got you covered today. And if you followed me yesterday with those Detroit Tigers, you cashed in easily. And also, somebody out here knows how to pick home run hitters. This is the team that we got today, of course, every day. I'm Donnie RightSide along with Jason Radowitz and Purviance. We are the SportsBookReview.com Major League Baseball team. You see Jason, he's happy, he's jolly, he's ready to go today on a Wednesday.
Yeah, I put a wager on the White Sox. That was the first game, the YouTube game. So
just
far,
looking at his face, how mad
the
he
White
is.
Sox
It's
have
so
put up
fun
0
right now.
runs so far, 5 hits, 0 runs, and I put in the wager. Tim Anderson then comes not in the lineup. He was 1-11 against Ober, but still, when you don't have Anderson at the top of the lineup, that kills the vibe just a little bit. And so far, the White Sox have put up a dud performance, and Bailey Ober, his fastball upstairs is up to really electric and really good, and it's pissed me off throughout the entire day. So after yesterday's Rockies performance and today's White Sox performance, it's put me in a really, really bad mood as of late.
Hey, we all been there before. You win some,
yeah.
You lose some. You just hope that you can trust the numbers to get after it. Because, Kyle, before I get to you here, as Jason talks about, hey, we're a team here. We pick each other up. We get victories. We move on. That's what we do as a show. But, the painstaking process that we go to sometimes you get a little bit lucky here. My favorite play yesterday was the Detroit Tigers, and thank goodness, because the other circle players I had, team total Oakland, team total Colorado, team total Boston. No go in that situation. So picked the right one yesterday and settled on that. Sometimes those are the breaks and move forward. Kyle, it's a Wednesday. We're halfway home to the weekend, baby.
Yeah, let me just tell the chat box. You got to read the whole list down there. We go over every game, so we're gonna go over more than 3 games. It was a good day to play the day. I was with you on the Tigers. They got that done in the first 5. The strikeout prop lost, which was a bummer. Aiken got lit up. Everything went exactly according to plan. 6 runs, 3 innings, but he gave up 5 strikeouts. We got another good one today. The value menu play, I was getting grief for the Dodgers first 5. That was cash money. There we go. And the Diamondbacks got the team total, got their team total. So it was a nice day. So, Jason, you just be happy for us, but I'm going to enjoy watching your face as these White Sox. There's just something that brings me joy about it, and Jason knows I love him. But I'm excited for today's show. Some good spots today. Let's rock and roll.
It was good yesterday, too. Like, even the odds boost yesterday, in the Mets, they only played 1 inning. That's all you needed yesterday was 1 inning to get that odds boost taken down. So some good things certainly were happening. And by the way, out there in the chat box, going over, they're only going to hit 3 games today. Don't you give me any ideas, people, because we will turn this into a 3-game show and also into the NFL. How nice would that be, Kyle? Show up on like a Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Hey, we're going to pick 3 games today and go over. What a nice 15-minute show. We're not going to hold you guys like that. Come on. We hit each and every game here to get after it. And by the way, you saw Lee Martin's video there, still going on in process. $20,000 in Bitcoin up for grabs right on through to the playoffs here at SportsBookReview.com. Also, maybe the most popular thing that we do at SportsBookReview.com, the Pick 6 contest, $50,000 up in the air. For more details here, also, you see that little yellow box at the top of the chat box right there, SBR Sports Picks. Click on there. That'll take you to all the information that you need to know for the Pick 6 contest, as well as the Major League Baseball Summer Contest as well. And if you need anything else, we got links all over the place. Look below where we're talking here, SBRpicks.com/MLB. Look, hold on. We're doing the job here in baseball season, right? We're giving you guys what you need to succeed out here. All we ask for is if you're new to the channel, just like some people in the chat box asking if we only go over 3 games a day, you're obviously new. You need to hit that subscribe button right now and turn that notification bell on tomorrow. You know what? Because usually like tomorrow, maybe you play today, maybe you play tomorrow. Friday is payday. How about this? If we don't have at least 87,500 subscribers, we'll hit the card Friday. We'll say, you know what? Good luck to you guys. You know,
I like that.
Enough to hit that thumbs up button. So if you want Friday is payday, which means I'm coming to play on Friday, Jason's coming to play. Hit that up there. I want 87,500 subscribers by the time we hit Friday, and we will get you paid in the shade here. In-game live updates here as we move forward. Washington Nationals, 3-1 over the Mets. Why? Because they played 1 inning last night. Before we get to that, real quick, Jason and Kyle, I want your intake on this, or input on this. Why is it a suspended game? In the past, it was always a canceled game. You start the game with a doubleheader the next day. Why are we suspending games after 1 inning here? Because I know as a Mets fan, Jason, you would just like to hit the restart button here.
Yeah, it's the new way in the MLB now. It looks like Rich Hill will get the start, or the second start of the game, I guess, per se, in that one. And look, the Mets, they actually were hitting the ball a little bit in the rain. So I kind of want that rain to come back, because that's the only time we've seen the Mets hit the ball at all. So, it is what it is. But hopefully the Mets can figure it out these next 2 games and get back to their winning ways, because we'll have Trevor Williams on the mound tomorrow, most likely, who they got on the trade with Baez from the Cubs. Obviously, he's been a can. We've faded him before on the show. So it's not looking too good for my Mets, not looking good for my bets, not looking good for anything. I'm ready just to just escape.
And by the way, me being the host of the show, not doing a lot of research here, so clear the air for me on this one, Jason. Are we going 2 9-inning games today? What's the deal?
The first one will be a 9. The next game is 7.
And
there
that's
you go,
happening
Kyle.
today?
What do you got? Go ahead, Kyle.
Okay.
Let loose on it.
Well, there's nothing I'm going to be completely honest. Here's what I think about the Mets and all the stupid crap. So, you get up early, you look, you say, okay, we got 14, 15 games. You see this little thing suspended. I'm like, I have absolutely no idea what the hell they're talking about there. Then I look at the teams involved. Oh, Washington and the Mets. Yeah, don't give a shit whatsoever. So I'm glad you went to Jason first, because I was like, what the hell is actually going on here? I don't even know. Don't even care. I got 14 other games that actually matter to me. Screw. I mean, what are the things you would rather do than watch the Mets hit a baseball? I mean, good Lord. So, it's silly. Baseball's silly. We all know they do silly crap all the time. They can never get out of their own way. That's why a bunch of National League games will have pitchers hitting today for absolutely no good reason. That's what baseball does. But glad you went to Jason first, because honestly, I just skipped it, said screw it. It's the Mets. I don't care what happened. Hopefully something bad. Let's move on.
That's so Kyle wasted 3 minutes of the show with that nice little dialogue. Yes. They're fantastic stuff. That's what we need fillers on the program. We do need fillers here, and Kyle is one of the best all time at doing that. But looking at the other games, before we get to that, tomorrow, interesting game. You're going to go out and have the Field of Dream game. Maybe we should have, the corn stalk, the green screen in the background. We'll see. And is anybody doing any research here on how the ball is going to carry out in that cornfield? So that'll be a fun thing to look at tomorrow as well. But getting to the live board here, Jason, again, I'll come back to you on this one. White Sox, Minnesota Twins. I know you're not happy with that 0-0 score here in the bottom of the 5th inning. The Rockies and the Astros at 1-1 here. Hey, Colorado actually scored today in the first inning. That's the way it always goes. Gamblers, we know this. Oh, my goodness. I like Colorado yesterday. They didn't score at all. Of course, they score a run, and probably should have had more runs there in the first inning, as they had first and third with 1 out and couldn't score anybody else. And how about those Yankees today? 3 runs here early in the first inning with the Kansas City Royals. And it looks like the Royals have a man on third with 1 out as I'm watching it live. Thoughts here on these early games, Jason? Any looks outside of the White Sox and the Twins you were looking at there?
Yeah, there's nothing. And like you said, obviously the Rockies scoring the first run in the first inning. Of course it happens. And the Yankees, their offense has been so shaky throughout the entire first 5s of the entire season. And sure, they score 3 runs in the first inning. There's a lot of people in the chat, stay away from day games. Don't bet this, don't bet that. Just go off the numbers. And, for me, with the White Sox, right, their offense looks really good against Ober. Today, Ober's fastball really electric going upstairs, and the White Sox are swinging right through it. And, even with 13 miles per hour winds blowing to center field and 80-degree weather, if they can't hit the ball, that fastball from Ober at the top of the zone, then it's going to be a bad day for them. And that's what's happening today. And you got to tip your cap to Ober. He's had a great game so far.
Yeah, it happens that way. By the way, the run just scored here. Salvador Perez, a RBI ground out here. And Kyle will tell you firsthand. How about if I told you this guy's going to only make it 9 outs and get 5 Ks? Whoa, he must have left with injury in a shutout yesterday. Not the case in Detroit and Baltimore. So it does happen. Any looks here early in the day for you, Kyle?
Well, I would still keep an eye on that White Sox Minnesota game. So yes, it's bad for Jason's team total, but what is it good for? It's good for depressed total, lines live in this game. That Twins bullpen is absolutely atrocious. So once Aubert finally does get out of here and stop dealing like he's doing, and I know it's not the best.
Is it Aubert? Is that the pronunciation correct?
Bailey Aubert.
We'll keep it that way.
Well, I think we all know if I say it, let's not jump to conclusions.
No, I want to keep that. I thought that was man. He knows something I don't know.
Aubert. It just seems like it should be Aubert, but I get all the names wrong. I have no damn clue if that's his actual name, but I think it's Aubert. But I would keep an eye on that White Sox live team total, even though it's not their greatest lineup today. The Twins bullpen really, really bad, so there is some upside there. You start getting a 1.5s or. You get those golden ones that Donnie tweets out with the Yankees, and you're in the 7th inning. Twins bullpen, the White Sox. Yeah, absolutely keep an eye on that. And in that same vein, I'd keep an eye on Houston. It's unfortunate that they just went ahead and tied the game here at 1, but I'd keep an eye on their live total as well because the worst bullpen in all of baseball is the Rockies. So attack bullpens late, live team totals. I think that's the way to do it. If you haven't gotten in before, I was a little busy this morning, so I didn't bet anything this morning, but that's the way I'd approach it if I was betting these games.
Yeah, there you go. And I think everybody likes the Aubert out here. So we're going to keep that as Aubert every time he comes up. Seems like he's going to stick in the rotation and some guys that we do like to fade on. Let's get to the Major League Baseball card today, Dodgers and Phillies. Now, last night, and again, I always preface this. I'm on the East Coast. I'm an old man. Like, I log off of a radio show at night right as the Philadelphia Phillies were getting back underway. And I left the people with this. You got to be kidding me. J.D. Hammer's coming into the game here. It's a 0-0 game. I'm pretty sure the Dodgers team total live was not 5 in the 5th inning at that point. Look at that. They score 5 runs from the 5th inning on here and get after Matt Moore. One of those instances here where sometimes you can find goal because when the games go to rain delay and they go for a long time, there's no way they're going to bring Max Scherzer back and also bring Aaron Nola back in, which you knew right away was going to be a boost there. So even if you're looking from a money line perspective, saying, wait a second, I'm going to get the Dodgers lineup and bullpen versus the Phillies lineup and bullpen, where do I sign up all day? Easy 5-0 winner. Now, getting back today, I'm going to start with you on this game, Jason. Dodgers and Philadelphia Phillies, Price versus Gibson. 9.5 have turned into 10. It is steamy. It is hot. It is muggy. Even though Kyle Gibson has had a couple good starts with the Philadelphia Phillies, sometimes you don't really look at ERA or how long he pitches. It's what's the xFIP number is going to be. And over the last 30 days, it's high. We know we're getting a pretty good lineup out there for the Dodgers. And then David Price on the opposite side. It's not 2015 anymore. It's 2021. This is a different David Price. So I agree with that line movement of 10 here, a favorite of 131 to 136 up to 140, depending where you're shopping at. Jason, your thoughts on the Phillies and the Dodgers here? For this series, for me, look, the Phillies are in first place. If the Phillies get 1 out of 3 at home, it feels like a win for them at this point, doesn't it?
Yeah, I agree. And look, the Phillies, they have some really great, bats against lefties in the last 30 days, especially Segura, Realmuto, Harper, Bohm, Torres actually has been pretty good, and even Williams and Herrera, they've limited strikeouts and they've been able to walk a little bit against lefties. Price just 19% strikeouts in the last 30 days. So we'll get to Kyle in a little bit, but Price probably not going to have the best performance, and we'll see a lot of balls in play from the Phillies. And like you were talking about with Gibson, though, 5.69 xFIP in his last 30 days. His strikeouts are low. His walks are actually higher than his strikeouts. The lineup for the Dodgers just as good with Muncy, Smith, Seager, Pollock, Taylor, and even Bellinger has some power against righties in the last 30 days. So, I think we'll see runs from both sides here. The Phillies are they can upset here on William Hill if you're in New Jersey or a couple other states around the Philadelphia area or the Pennsylvania area. You'll get that plus 175 odds boost there at plus 175 for the Phillies. So I think that's a good look at $25 if that's something you guys want to do. So.
It's always money. It's for us. We point you in the right direction. It's up to you to click that button. And even if it doesn't win, if the price is right, long term, you are going to make money. Now, as we saw Kyle right there on the camera taking a sip of his, favorite beverage here, getting that wry smile on his face. Because every time David Price is mentioned on this show here, it's almost like, how a guy profiles in the lineup. So have at it. David Price on the mound today, Kyle.
I love, there's a lot I like about this game. I'm glad this game was on the list because I love this game. First of all, David Price is terrible. I know yesterday it happened a bad thing. It's still minus 140 at BetMGM. David Price under 4.5 strikeouts is at minus 140 still at BetMGM. David Price has gotten 5 strikeouts. That's his season high once this year, all the way back on May 27th. Since that time, he's had 2 starts against the Phillies. Guess how many strikeouts he had in those 2 starts combined? I'll do the Donnie. Boop, 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 boop. How many strikeouts did David Price have against the Phillies in his 2 starts? 0.0.
Oh, man.
Under 4.5 is way too easy for a guy. Again, he would have to match his season high tonight against the Phillies, who have not been striking out against lefties. I just don't see it happening. And you can also get a depressed Phillies team total of 3.5 at BetMGM at -160. I think the Phillies score here. David Price, not all that great. Actually, the middle of that Dodgers bullpen, not that great either. It's when you get to the back end that you start seeing that star power. I like the Phillies today. I think there's value on them in the first 5 innings at +105 on the money line. Look, Kyle Gibson, not great, and the Dodgers should be able to score as well. There should be runs in this game. The 10, I think, is right, and I don't blame you for going over. I won't be doing that. And to answer Adam's question, yes, I have no pants or underwear on. I do that very often on this show. There's a reason the camera is up here. I do it almost all the time. It's easier to talk about the times I am wearing pants than the times I'm not. Yeah, it's real hot. So I'm definitely not wearing. So under strikeout prop for David Price is money to me. Under 4.5 -140. Like that Phillies team total, especially if you want to go to BetMGM, maybe a value menu type wager. You can get it over 3.5 at -160. They should score early. I do like him in the first 5 innings as well as an underdog at +105.
Yeah, it's hard to, because, I mean, if you're going to take David Price, you're going to hope that obviously the Dodgers are going to come to play at the plate tonight. But also you're looking at a 10, which means the odds makers think both of these teams are probably going to come to play tonight, because obviously they're not banking on an 8-2 victory by the Dodgers, because obviously Price is on the mound. The Philadelphia Phillies should hit. It's hitting conditions. It's a smaller ballpark. And yes, the Phillies also did get shut out yesterday. But Kyle brings up a good point on some of these strikeout props. You know, the numbers are the numbers, but sometimes it doesn't pass the eye test. Like, you know, when Peralta goes on the mound against a team that strikes out like the Cubs, you're like, hey, man, he's going to peel them all day long. What did he get? 8+ Ks yesterday, cashes in on his prop, and that was only a 7-inning game. If you watch David Price, there's nothing special. Like when he gets an 0-2 count, it's like, man, he is going to bury a slider on this guy. It's almost like he's throwing the ball over the middle of the plate. Like, hey, man, I just hope to get a strike. And if you miss it, I'll walk into a strikeout. Maybe the pitcher will strike out and help us out. He doesn't have much left in the tank at this point. Let's get to game number 2 here that we have on the Major League Baseball card. That's the Rays and the Red Sox. And boy, I got to tell you, looking at back-to-back games there, at least, you know, over the last week, where you had a nice lead over Toronto. You gave that one away in Toronto. You had a nice lead yesterday in one of those turning point games where you say, hey, you know what? Let's stop the bleeding. Let's beat a division rival and try to move back up the standings. They drop another one yesterday after winning the first 5. We take a look at the pitching matchups today. Fleming versus Eovaldi. Not a great matchup for either side here. That's why we're looking at a pick 'em, -111, -118, -120 across the board, and a 10.5, which I do agree with. Jason, as I'm looking at this game, it's very close to me to making this a play of the day wager, but I backed off just for some, XFIP minus numbers that make a little bit more sense for Eovaldi. But if you're looking at a guy over the last 30 days that can get hit by left-handed batters, and the anticipated lineup today for the Tampa Bay Rays, they should hit tonight.
Yeah, look, and the Red Sox, they've been awful against lefties. You have Hernandez has a solid ISO and weighted OBA, Devers as well. But outside that, I mean, this is the Red Sox team. They're just struggling. I mean, they were up 4-1 yesterday, found a way to lose 8-4, or I think that was what the score was. So, yeah, it's been pretty ugly for the Red Sox as of late. And, of course, like you said, the Rays, I mean, up and down that entire lineup, they look really good. Eovaldi, 4.5 now, next FIP. Now, strikeouts are high and his walks are low. He's not getting, a solid amount of ground balls. And like you said, the lefties are smashing him, and you'll probably get a solid amount of lefties in the lineup for the Rays. So I agree with the Rays in this spot. Can't really trust the Red Sox at all. Their offense has been, for the most part, they've been garbage. And just the team in general, they're not playing to the way that they played earlier in the season. So I'd be on the Rays in this one.
Yeah, no, it looks that way. And again, I don't know how you can stop the bleeding here for the Red Sox. The most demoralizing losses are not the ones that you come out and get smoked 7-1. It's the one where you have the lead. Like, okay, we can calm down. We're going to get this victory. And they get one again snatched yesterday. So coming back today, Kyle, your thoughts on the Rays and the Red Sox here?
This is another one I kind of like, and I'm with you guys. The Rays, you're actually getting a good price on the Rays. Look, Fleming's not a world beater, but I'd say maybe his stuff's just a little bit better than Eovaldi's. And I can tell you this, the Red Sox lineup does not profile as well off of Fleming, a weighted 3 or 670 OPS, and he actually put up a 33 in his last start, 33 in his last 2 overall in terms of fantasy points. Pretty solid. Nathan Eovaldi's been really up and down, only 24 combined fantasy points his last 2 starts. a 19 and 18 and 21 and 3 of his last 4 against Tampa Bay, a weighted 3-year OPS of 827. I like the Rays here. You're getting them plus 125, or excuse me, plus 115 on the money line in the first 5 innings. And I was close on the Rays team total as well. The problem for me, it started to get a little steamed up. The Rays aren't the Braves against a lefty, right? It's not the Braves against Lester where you're paying the 135 for 4.5. I'm not sure I want to pay minus 135 for the Rays over 4.5, but it was really close for me. I like the lineup tonight. I like the lefties in the lineup and Nelson Cruz for DFS. For me, it's the Rays, and I like that plus money in the first 5 innings.
By the way, we want to talk about some line movement here today. Earlier this morning, I was doing a show. The Tampa Bay Rays to win the AL East with a 5-game lead was minus 135, and he couldn't figure it out. Like, boy, that just seems a little bit off. Go back to FanDuel today and check here at 2:50 p.m. Eastern time. It's now up to minus 210, more in line with a 5-game lead here in the AL East. So that was an interesting number. That, hey, sometimes they post numbers that don't make a whole lot of sense, and it's up to you to find those and bet those to see if you can get some of that value. And if you did this morning, you got about 80 cents of value towards that, because that's a 5-game lead, and that's a steady ball club. Because when you look at the Tampa Bay Rays, it's not so much that they're hot and cold. They're always steady, right? They get good starting pitching, great bullpen work, and some timely hitting that usually doesn't lead to a lot of 2-8 stretches during the Major League Baseball season. So we'll see how that one plays out as we move down the list today. Next game up on the card, Reds and the Braves, and that's Miley versus Toussaint on the mound. Another good one here, odds-wise. Minus 118s, minus 126s across the board. Another high total. It seems to be a common theme in a lot of these baseball games that we're looking at between decent teams. 10s across the board, Jason. I'll start with you first. Matching up, the Braves are going to throw a lot of right-handed batters at Miley here. And Touki Toussaint, one of those guys that is electric but can give it up a little bit. And if you're thinking that he's a really good pitcher, a really good young pitcher, or you could see like when he faced the Phillies, 10 strikeouts, completely dominant baseball. Then you see some other games where he's not so, good, because that's some of the ebbs and flows of a young pitcher in baseball. But I do think that lineup for the Reds profiles pretty well against Toussaint today, Jason. Your thoughts today on the Reds and the Braves? Oh, man,
he's muted up. Kelsey Kramer in the house. You got to unmute that mic, Jason.
Look at that. He's loving it. Look at him.
He's loving it.
Yeah, look, how to make my day worse. Hold on. How to make my day worse. You got the guys out there freaking making noise. You got the White Sox getting 0 runs. The Rockies get 0 runs yesterday. How to make my life just miserable. Although the Braves just got on base. So now we're starting a little bit of rally here. That's like the 6th hit of the day. The White Sox still have 0 runs. So good on the White Sox for knocking some singles around here. But I like the over 4.5 in the first 5 for this game. It's at minus 155. But Miley, despite he has a 2.75 ERA and it's 8th in baseball, does have a 5.02 xFIP in his last 30 days, striking out under 16% of batters and walking 11.2% of batters. And then, like you said, the Braves are going to have a ton of righties in the lineup. Freeman, he'll be the one lefty. d'Arnaud might be in the lineup today. He's actually just got activated for the Braves. So now that they're in contention, we have the much better option to have d'Arnaud out there instead of Smith. So yeah, I like the Atlanta lineup. And then also, like you talked about with Touki Toussaint, he looked great in his first 2 outings, but his last 2, not so great after all. Allowed 11 hits in 8.2 innings pitched, gave up 10 runs, 3 home runs, just 8 strikeouts, and it looks like 4 walks as well. So the Reds lineup also looks really good. Touki Toussaint's also been pretty bad against righties. 336 weighted OBA, ISO of 269. India will be in the lineup, Castellanos, Farmer, then a lot of lefties that can do some damage as well. I like both lineups. I think they can both score some early runs in this game.
Yeah, take a look at the lineup here from a Reds perspective, Kyle, of the last 30 days. I mean, Toussaint's got a 3.88 xFIP, which is great, but giving it up a little bit to right-handed batters, 57 of them that he's faced, a 336. But take a look at 6 of the 8 eligible batters tonight that we're anticipating in the lineup. Check the weighted on-base averages to right-handed pitching. This is the Reds, 413, 470, 538, 635, 415. You got a lot of power in that lineup here. We're looking to get runs down in Hotlanta tonight.
I love runs in this game. I think the over makes a lot of sense in this game. I'm not comfortable picking a side. Miley, I think, is obviously the more established pitcher and has more of a history of having success. He was lit up his last time out against Atlanta, only 16 fantasy points, and you sort of look at his last 5. When he's good, he's really good. 50 and 56. Like, wow, he looks great. And then when he's bad, he's really bad. 0, 10, and 22. Both teams profile nicely. I think both teams' team total is live. The one I feel just slightly better about are the Reds. I agree with you guys. Over 4.5, minus 120. That's a good number for an offense like the Rays against a pitcher, who's got some upside, but let's face it, you're not going to, mistake him for Max Scherzer anytime soon. So, I like that Reds team total. I think over 4.5 makes sense. I don't mind the overall in this game. Both team totals live for me. I like this game, stacking it in DFS. I like those Reds lefties, especially in DFS. Castellanos, very good against righties. Both lineups look good. Reds team total I feel slightly better about, and I like the over in this game.
There you go. No, we should get runs. I mean, that's what the name of the game is, and I think that does set up pretty well down there. Let's keep it moving here. Value menu wagers on the board today. Going to get after it here. I don't have a best bet in a banker today, but a game I really like, just short of making it a best bet in a banker, is the Tampa Bay team total 4.5 minus 120. I do think there's value on that because you're getting a lot of good components here. Eovaldi is a power throwing right-handed. You're going to stack a lot of left-handed bats, but also keep in mind, we're talking about conditions up in Wrigley, 86 degrees at first pitch here, wind blowing out at about 9 miles an hour. I do think they'll be able to touch up Eovaldi, and maybe if Eovaldi has a very good start, 6 innings, 3 earned runs, you're still going to be in the ball game late, and I do think both sides will have running mates with each other today, even though, as we pointed out, Jason so astutely said, left-handed pitchers sometimes give the Red Sox a little bit of issues, but keep in mind also, this isn't really a dominant left-handed pitcher that's going to be on the mound tonight for Tampa Bay. We'll see how many times he actually goes through the order for the Red Sox. We know very analytical Tampa Bay. So I'm going to go with my value menu wager play today. Tampa Bay's team total 4.5 minus 120, which I took a little bit of a piece of this morning. I think they hit tonight. No reason to believe they can't get 5 runs. Jason, value on your card. Where is it at tonight?
Yeah, it's going to be the over 4.5 in the first 5, like I just talked about in that Reds versus Braves game. It was juiced up to minus 155. I don't mind going with that 5 at around minus 120 if you want to go that direction. But I'd be surprised if both these pitchers came off the mound and didn't allow 3 runs before 5 innings were done. So over 4.5 in the first 5 can be the value play there.
All right, value, Kyle. Where are we going today? I know it's probably an Arby's day for you, but where we get?
It's Arby's. Let's go. I don't know if I'm ready to go back to Arby's. It did sound good, I will admit. Yes, was it yesterday? We ended up ordering pizza. I'm like, damn it, am I going to get talked into the Arby's train again? But I did not do it. My stomach still said no. A couple games, actually, like one that starts here in just a little bit, in about an hour. The Marlins team total, over 3.5. Look, Ryan Weathers, we talked about this the last time Ryan Weathers was out there. This is not a good pitcher. You're getting a team over 3.5 at minus 105. So actually, if I go to BetMGM right now, I bet you I could find a depressed number too if you really want to play it safe. But the Marlins lineup actually profiles fairly decently against some of these lefties, guys like Aguilar, et cetera, can drive in some runs. And again, Ryan Weathers, one of the worst lefties you're going to find in the league. I'm trying to look up this depressed team total we can get for the Marlins. Over 2.5, so it's minus 190. So that's a little steamed up. Over 3.5, though, minus 105. I think it's a fair number. I think that's a number they can hit. Afternoon, warm weather. It is a pitcher's park. But if you're telling me I can get a near even money price to get 4 runs off Ryan Weathers, I'll take that every day of the week. Nothing major on it, but I'll sprinkle some in as well. And then, of course, it's a fade of Dylan Bundy starting today against the Blue Jays. The reasons on the value menu, because, of course, it's steamed up. It's minus 0.5 in the first 5 at minus 140. Some places have it at minus 150. Look, Manoah has actually been really, really good after those initial starts when he came up. Solid guy, solid strikeout guy. Again, of course you're worried about Ohtani, and Ohtani can go out and hit 2 home runs, and the Blue Jays could still win this game. 11-2 off Dylan Bundy, one of the worst pitchers over the last several seasons. Total fade of Bundy, a weighted 3-year OPS of 990 for the Blue Jays, a combined 21 of 93. I think the Blue Jays get off today minus 0.5 in the first 5 at minus 140 is also on the value menu wager.
All right, value menus in the door. Time to get some odds boost right now. Yesterday, cashing in yesterday. Heard a lot about, you taking a Mets game to score a run in the first? Yes, I am. And yes, it did cash in. And yes, it was suspended in the second inning. And yes, it got paid out. So who really cares at this point? By the way, keep up an idea. I did have the Detroit Tigers a few different ways on a few different sports books. And FanDuel also now, guys, paying out immediately when that team total hits. So some good stuff going around. So I guess you get those good vibes out there for some books saying, hey, you didn't pay this one out. Now they're all of a sudden paying very quickly here. So another added bonus for a team total where, hey, it might be raining in the forecast. There was no more pain over the past couple of years than putting a team total out there and then getting 7 runs through 5 or 6 innings. And hey, 6-1 final, and you don't get to cash in that ticket. So the fact that they're paying these out, another advantageous move to bet team totals. But my odds boost tonight, you know where I'm going? Showtime on the DraftKings Sportsbook. Shohei Ohtani to reach base in his first plate appearance tonight is plus 185. Now, the reason that's important, it's not a hit. It's not if he gets on by error. It's not if he gets hit by pitch. There's all these like little legalities here. This says to reach base. If he walks down and touches the base safely, he is going to be there, and you're going to get paid out of plus 185 because it would have been a little bit different here. They like to go, what? Hey, he's got to get a hit. He's got to walk or get a hit. And then if he gets hit by a pitch, no, he didn't walk. He got hit by a pitch. None of that. Just get the first base, first plate appearance, plus 185. That's where I'm going. Jason, what do you got tonight? Odds boosted.
Yeah, so look, yesterday took that Cardinals shutout, just missed it by one hit, which was a home run by Park at the top of the order. So a lot of the guys wanted to kill me on that one. I guess I was almost right there at the plus 1,200 with Hap having a solid outing there. But today we'll go with Corbin Burns to get 10 plus strikeouts and the Brewers to win against the Cubs at plus 450. It was at plus 340. Now, again, we just saw Peralta against the Cubs, and we've seen kind of what every pitcher has done since the Cubs have lost. Baez, Bryant, Rizzo, Marisnik, the entire lineup is gone. They've been striking out over 30% of the time. Since the All-Star break, it's been a pretty much big disaster for that offense. And, Burns hasn't been the best, in terms of strikeouts, 6, and 5 in his last 3, but he's looked really good, and he has potential to get 10 or more. Obviously has reached that number plenty of times on the season. So we'll go with that. We'll go with Burns to record 10 strikeouts or more, and then also the Brewers to win against the Cubs at plus 450 on FanDuel.
There you go. Odds boosted up. By the way, somebody out there says, when did the Twins learn how to pitch here? Interesting, because White Sox struggled a little bit last night. 6 hits today, no runs yet through 6 at-bats for them here. Odds boosted to the moon here. Kyle, what you got today?
I'm going to go back to this Phillies-Dodgers game. Now, look, it's a bit risky. So the Dodgers can score in the first inning off anybody, especially a righty, even though Gibson's okay. He's not the worst. He's not the best. He's very middling, He's the me. He's the me of baseball, right there in the middle. But I will say the Phillies, they're the road team, so they get to bat first, right? Top of the first. David Price, we're fading him today. I think the Phillies can score first, so boosted from 135 to 165 at BetMGM. Phillies to score the first run of the game. I think they get off early off of Price tonight. So I'm backing Donnie's Phillies again. I might be jinxing the hell out of your team tonight. I don't know, man.
There you go. Man. And by the way, it would be nice in that first inning, Kyle, if nobody scores for the Dodgers in the top half of the inning. There is an always sunny boost on the DraftKings Sportsbook. Bryce Harper to record 2 or more RBIs. So that means a Segura base knock. Maybe Realmuto gets on base. Harper doubles them in or hits a 2-run blast in the first inning. You can cash that ticket at plus 550. Am I going with that? Not really at this time, but I have my odds boost ready to go, and it's Shohei, the MVP. Let's get to the best bets on the board today. I'm 35-13 on the season. I was really close to that Tampa Bay team total. Didn't meet all the criteria for that, so we'll get back on that board tomorrow. But Jason, what are we digging in today? Best bets and bankers on the board for you. Do we have anything that's going to be playing this evening in that realm?
Look, after the White Sox have put up this dud, I'm retiring for the night. We'll be back tomorrow, but I do have the value play, of course. I'll root for the odds boost, but it's this White Sox. I'm on the White Sox over 4.5 in the team total. They got 0 through 6. Although it is a 0-0 game, maybe we'll see a Royals-Yankee type of deal, and we'll get a couple of 4-point saves.
You're okay. You got time. You got time.
Yeah, there's no chance, but we'll see what happens. Look, that's what I'm on today, and obviously it doesn't look like it's gonna be a banker, so I'll just keep it at that.
Yeah, so what you do is, if you have a really good play early, it doesn't go down. Take Kyle's advice. Throw 2 or 3 out the window here at night and see if you can get it all back at once, Kyle. Take it away. What do you got?
Throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping it sticks, baby. Let's go. No, look, for me, it's our favorite former Phillies pitcher, Spencer Howard, on the mound for the Texas Rangers. It's a fade of that for me. The Mariners team total. Look, I know the Mariners let some people down last night, but the Mariners have been pretty consistent.
No,
They've been
did.
A solid underdog. They let some people, not everybody down exactly. There you go. But I like this Mariners team total Over 4.5. It's still fairly priced. I'm double checking to make sure I don't give the wrong number. People get so angry.
Still I had 4.5 minus 110 earlier. So
there you go. Yeah, minus 110. Yeah. I'm seeing minus 120. Right here, we got advantages in this lineup: 32, 53, 34, 15, 24, and 71%. I put Kyle Seager back on the home run prop list. I think Mitch Haniger's another guy who could go yard tonight. I like the Seattle lineup. You're getting a bad bullpen and one of the worst starters you're ever going to see. I couldn't even find an under strikeout prop for Spencer Howard. That was my first goal when I saw him. Like, what's the number? I don't care if it's 1.5. I'll take the under for Spencer Howard. He absolutely stinks. Give me that Mariners team total. Best bet of the day, over 4.5. At minus, I'm seeing 120. If it hits, me and Jason split it because I know Jason agrees to, so we'll give him half a win for that, and it'll make his day better. What do you think? Just like that. Team player.
Share it around. Share it around. I'd circle plays today. Tampa Bay, Milwaukee, Atlanta, and Seattle was on that card there, so I do agree with you, Kyle, on that prognosis, I think. And by the way, Spencer Howard, my question for you, Kyle, does he make it out of the forget on 3 innings? Does he make it out of the 3rd inning here?
Probably not. Well, I will say, no, he won't make it out of the 3rd. In his last 3 starts, he went to the 4th once and then got lit up in that game and had to be pulled very early on. But no, probably doesn't make it to the 3rd. We've probably already hit our team total by then, too. That's the goal. Put our feet up and chill out.
As we always like to say, 5 and 5. That's always the goal here. So, get the first 5 innings. Don't sweat it out any further at this point. Let's get to the odds lightning round. Pick off some meat from the bone here that we left. Miami and San Diego, 4:10 starts. So we're coming up in about 1 hour's time here. Alcantara versus Weathers, the lefty on the mound. And I agree with the line movement going down. But as I always like to joke around, look, Miami's not in it to win anything. They are sightseeing. They are partying. It's beautiful in San Diego. Whether or not they show up for this game, who knows? Whether they even want to show up, I think we pretty much know. 8's across the board, but a favorite here that is dropping. FanDuel, minus 180 down to 164. Offshore down to 158 as a favorite for the Padres. I like Alcantara. I think he's the better pitcher today. But Miami just flat out stinks, Jason. What do you thinking about today?
Yeah, and that's the problem. Weathers, he's been awful, and obviously, like you said, he is the worst pitcher in this game. But when you're looking at this Marlins offense, you have Rojas. He's been getting on base. Aguilar, the big RBI guy, does strike out a lot though. And then you have Brinson. That's basically it. The rest you can go down the list and 0.00 that entire lineup on the ISO. And so I mean, something's got to give though. Maybe the bats can figure out a way to get to Weathers, because the reality is Weathers has been awful with a weighted OBA of 401 to righties and 550 or 546 to lefties, with an ISO power number of over 200 to both sides. So maybe something's got to give. The one thing that the Marlins do well, they don't hit that many ground balls. That could help because Weathers does get 45% of ground balls. If they can keep that in the air, then they have potential of getting some line drive and hard hit balls there. Then you go to the Padres. Their offense, it's not that much better. You have the 3 guys in the lineup, Machado, Cronenworth, and Hosmer have hit righties well. Outside of that, there's nothing to love in that lineup. So for me, I think this game probably goes under. We could see some offense both sides, but it's hard to bet the Marlins offense right now. I mean, it just looks horrible.
It does. 350 people watching live in the chat box here on a Wednesday. Thank you guys for all the love and support. And Jason is right here. This is one of those games where you have an awful pitcher on the mound over the last 30 days and an awful lineup. So something has to give. If you're willing to bet on that, that game certainly is for you. Let's keep moving down the list here. 9:03, 9:04, 7 o'clock tonight, St. Louis and Pittsburgh. That is Wainwright and Crow on the mound today. 161 to 163 offshore at Pinnacle as a favorite towards the St. Louis Cardinals. And then also at FanDuel here, opened up at 168, staying at 168. 9s across the board at the majority of the outlets we're looking at. Will Crow, one of those guys I do like to fade, but it is a pitcher's ballpark, and sometimes that St. Louis offense can go dormant. Is Wainwright the better pitcher over Crow? Probably so. Does St. Louis have a better lineup than Pittsburgh? Probably so. Do I want to lay minus 168 on the road? Probably not, Kyle. Probably not.
You just took the words right out of my mouth. And do you want to lay minus 140 on the Cardinals to get 5 runs? Now, they profile well. They were just asking about it in the chat box. It's a weighted 3-year OPS at 1046. It's the second highest on the card. They should absolutely smash Will Crow, but the Cardinals simply don't score runs. And I am seeing people in the chat box. Let's add that to the list. Spencer Howard under 3.5 strikeouts. It's at 156. Yeah. Sign me up. Parlay it with Price under 4.5. Spencer Howard is not getting 4 strikeouts tonight. That's not in any world that I want to live in. So I do like that. So, yeah, I mean, should the Cardinals score? Yes. Should they win the first 5 innings? Is Wainwright exponentially better than Will Crow? Absolutely. It's minus 0.5 and the first five is minus 120. So I guess that's not that bad. If I'm going to bet the Cardinals here, that's probably the way I would do it. Can't trust them to get to 5 runs. Should they? Absolutely. A little home run prop and a guy like Arenado, I think, makes some sense as well. But that's as far as I'm willing to go. Just cannot trust this offense enough, no matter who's on the mound for the other team.
We got an interesting one to talk about here in this next game. Detroit and Baltimore. That's 9:19 to 9:20 back at Camden Yards here. Skubal versus Harvey. 2 guys at the beginning of the season. You might have hung this number like a 14.5, but now at least you're getting a quote-unquote bargain at 10s across the board. Roughly a pick 'em, depending on where you're shopping at, 110, 115, 120. But as I take a look at the numbers here, it's very interesting because Skubal over the last 30 days here, a 4.39 xFIP number. And, weighted on base average to lefties, which he's not going to get a lot of tonight. They have a 384. Righties, he's got a 311, but an ISO power number of 310, which means when they're hitting the baseball against him, they're making it count, so to speak. But then you take a look at Detroit. They're going up against Harvey. He has some really good numbers weighted on base average. But is he getting lucky? Because over the last 30 days, about a 5.25 xFIP number here because he doesn't strike out a lot of batters. 10s on the board. Boy, I know Harvey's been good. And I know Skubal's been a little bit better than what he was in the beginning of the season. But 2 bullpens here. And when you talk about a really bad bullpen, that's what you're getting out of the Orioles. Are we going to see more Harvey magic in this one, weaving in and out of traffic and pitching a great game? Or is it more the Harvey that we've anticipated over the past year and a half?
Yeah, so look, he faced the Tigers on the road not too long ago on 7:30 when 6.1 innings pitched, 6 hits, no runs, 5 strikeouts, no walks, did allow 13 fly balls and 6 ground balls. But yeah, I mean, 5.23 xFIP, striking out under 50% of batters in the last 30 days. There's guys in this Tigers lineup that can definitely do damage against him. It'll be Grossman, Candelario, Cabrera, Haas, and Reyes has a little bit of power against righties as well. So I do think there's potential here for the Tigers to score against Harvey, this time going up against him compared to last time. So I do kind of like the Tigers offense in this one. And of course, the Orioles bullpen, they've been awful. And, Harvey went just 4 innings in his last start, did go 6 in his other starts. That's because he's kind of getting hit hard and getting a little bit lucky in the pitch count isn't getting high. That's why he's able to go 6 innings or more. He's looked a lot better, but I do think the Tigers have potential here in their lineup and can definitely do some damage as long as Nico Goodrum and the Castro guys aren't the ones that rally kill it all. But I do like the Tigers in this one.
Hot and muggy down in Baltimore tonight, 9:21, 9:22, Oakland and Cleveland. That is going to be Montas versus Quantrill, 9s across the board. Good hitting weather once again in this ball game out in Cleveland, about 87, 88 degrees at first pitch, light wind blowing out. Favorite towards Oakland. All they do is win, 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 no matter what. And they're a favorite today, minus 143 to minus 150s across the board. Hard to go against Oakland right now, charging towards the Astros, Kyle. Any thoughts here on this game between Oakland and Cleveland?
I think this is a solid pitching matchup. I think Cal Quantrill has really started to improve. He's one of the guys that I've lost an under strikeout prop in sort of early on in this, but it seems as these starts go on, he gets better and better and better. I kind of like the under 5 in the first 5 innings for this game. I think both pitchers can pitch well against the opposing lineup. It's always hard for me to trust the A's lineup. I do know they've been hitting better. Both pitchers profile really well. This could be a nice nerfy spot as well for those of you who like nerfies. Under 5 in the first 5, minus 115. I don't like a lot of runs in this game. Don't have much of either team in DFS. Like the under first 5. I like both pitchers. I think Quantrill is better than people actually realize, and he's projecting upward, in my opinion. Like the under in the first 5.
Yeah, no, it could be a decent look in that. And we're going to skip over the Washington-New York Mets game because that's the second half. Don't really know who the pitcher is confirmed here for Washington. But let's get to an interesting game here, one that might have an impact here on the NL races. 9-11, 9-12, 8:05 tonight. Burns on the mound versus Arrieta. That is Milwaukee and the Chicago Cubs. 10s across the board here in Chicago. Burns on the mound, a massive favorite. He opened up in New Jersey here, Jason, a minus 320 at FanDuel, now dropped to a minus 270. Offshore, 255, now sits at 250. That is a heavy price, but clearly the better pitcher on the mound. And I did have Milwaukee as a circled play option here. The only difference is it's 5.5 at minus 140, which should they get it? Probably at Wrigley, going against a bad pitcher in Arrieta, but something I don't really like to spend on unless we're taking a look at basically Coors Field and going up against that Rockies bullpen and starting pitching staff, which usually is out there on the mound. Your thoughts today on Burns and Arrieta, because I know he has one of these strikeout props. It's high today, and he probably should get it against the Cubs.
Yeah, I'm going to be on that 10 strikeouts and the Brewers to win. If you look at the Cubs, 26.2% strikeouts against righties in the last 30 days. I mean, this lineup, you have Ortega, who had like one big game where he had 3 home runs. But outside of that, I mean, yeah, I mean, he's been really the only guy that's produced in this lineup for the Cubs consistently. And Burns, he's been really good. 3.04 xFIP, striking out 28% of batters and walking under 6%. Ground balls also 52.2% in the last 30 days. And like you said, the Brewers, they do look pretty good against Arrieta, who's got a 4.41 xFIP, striking out just 13.2%. That means the Brewers are going to put the ball in play, and they're not hitting too many ground balls in the first place, and have a solid batting average of balls in play, line drive percentage over 20%. So yeah, I like the Brewers in this game. I think they'll get the job done. Yeah, that 5.5 a little bit high, but if you want to go with that boost instead with the Burns or something, I think that might be the better route. Just put a little bit of money on there.
Yeah, I think he peels them away. I really do. I think he dominates in this game. They should get an easy victory here. 925, 926 out on the West Coast. Manoah versus Bundy. 9.5s across the board. Heavy favorite here for Toronto. Minus 184, minus 188 in that instance. The only thing I'm looking at in this game, not a side, not a total. Just need my man, Shohei Ohtani, to reach base here in the bottom of the first inning. Kyle, your thoughts here between Toronto and the Angels now they match up?
Yeah, it's very possible. And Manoah's better than Bundy. I know Bundy actually did look fairly good his last time out and looked good against Toronto. Actually, his last 5 against Toronto, he's got nothing less than 30. It's kind of shocking when you look at it. But I do think this Blue Jays lineup and this Dylan Bundy, 2 different animals here. I expect Toronto to hit. I do like him in the first 5, minus 0.5. Again, it's minus 140, so just a value menu wager, just a little sprinkle on that. Manoah has been really, really solid since his debut. A strikeout guy. I don't mind the strikeout props for Manoah either. Ohtani does profile nicely, a 44% advantage. It is something that he should be able to get done as well. So for me, Toronto, little sprinkle, minus 0.5 in the first 5. And maybe if you want to consider that team total as well. I know it's starting to get juiced up and it's high at over 5.5.
Bundy's got a lot of the feels for me of Matt Harvey, particularly over the last 30 days, 5.39 xFIP number, but has a very good weighted on base average, both lefties and righties. The difference here is you're getting in a real man's man lineup tonight out of the Blue Jays. Take a look at the last 30 days versus right-handed pitching. This is just ISO power numbers, 387, 343, 278, 191, 224, 190, and 205 through your first 7 batters before you get to like the catchers and stuff like that. So certainly lines up well. And Toronto, one of those fun teams. Look, even though Chicago's not hitting yesterday or today, one of those fun teams to watch. Same thing, get those same vibes from the Toronto Blue Jays along with them. We'll see how that one works out. Arizona and San Francisco, 9:45 tonight. Kelly versus Gausman, massive favorite here for Gausman and the San Francisco Giants at a minus 290 here in New Jersey, a minus 300 at DraftKings, 279 offshore, 7.5s to 8s across the board, depending on where you're shopping at. I guess with Jason, we don't have to cap this too much. San Francisco, just a matter of how many of San Francisco want to score and can hit their team total, basically, for me.
Yeah, the Giants 277 ISO, weighted OBA of 367, also walking 10.5% in their last 30 days against righties. So the Giants offense looks very good. And against Kelly, a 4.78 xFIP and strikes out under 20% of batters. It looks really good for the Giants in this game.
Yeah, by the way, a couple guys in the chat box out there. Yep, dealing with COVID, obviously, the Milwaukee Brewers, you want to get Hader back as soon as possible. So if you have a strikeout prop, if the pitcher knows, like, hey, man, can you get me at least 8 innings today? He's going to put up some serious numbers there against the Chicago Cubs. Last game we'll talk about, Kyle, your neck of the woods. I know you like this one. My guy, Spencer Howard, a high-rated prospect that can only go 3 innings as a starting pitcher. What's the pay table for that when he hits arbitration? They go, hey, I'm a starting pitcher. You go 3 innings. Here's your $1 million. Go home. I don't know. Howard versus Anderson, the lefty on the mound, minus 215 for Seattle in this game. That tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah, and I'll never lay minus 215 on Tyler Anderson. That ain't going to happen. Not on any universe. Yeah. That's why you just take that Mariners team total. Spencer Howard, the worst pitcher on the mound today for any team by far. Not even close. He's god-awful. Then David Price is second worst, probably. It's probably somewhere in that order. And then Matt Harvey, might have climbed his way to third. But look, the Seattle team total is the only way I can take this bet. I actually think the Rangers team total is live as well. They don't profile all that bad. The over, is this game really sitting at 8? And I think that's low for these two pitchers. I know the Rangers lineup stinks, and they don't look all that great, not putting out a great effort, but 8 seems low. I like runs in this game. I think Seattle gets that team total over 4.5. Love Seattle in DFS. And Texas is sneaky for runs too. 8 seems low for me. I'll take the over in the game as well.
All right, folks. Nice and tidy show here on a Wednesday. Tomorrow, we'll do it all again. But before we get out of here each and every day on the show, we like to clear the bases and let you guys in the chat box and anybody listening there know exactly what we're on tonight. Value menu wager play for me tonight. Tampa Bay's team total over 4.5 minus 120 at BetMGM. Don't have a best bet and banker, but I'm going to be rooting late at night. And these are the perfect ones for me. If I'm going to have to stay up, I only want to watch one at bat before I have to go to bed. And that's Shohei Ohtani for me with my odds boost. Him just to reach base tonight in his first plate appearance at plus 185. Jason, take it away. What are you digging on tonight with your value menu wager play and also odds boost?
Yeah, so the value will be on the Reds and Braves over 4.5 in the first 5 at minus 155, and that's via MGM. You can get that 5 at MGM at around minus 120 or minus 125. And of course, most of the books will have that 5.5 at around that plus 100 range. If you want to go tail that with me. Then also FanDuel, the boost there, Burns to get 10 strikeouts and the Brewers to win, boosted from plus 340 to now plus 450. So that's the odd boost that I'll be on today.
Kyle, wrap it up. What you got tonight?
All right, value menu. We're gonna go with that crappy Marlins lineup. I just think Weathers is even worse. 3.5 to press number over 3.5 minus 105 on the value menu. Also going to take the Blue Jays minus 0.5 in the first 5 at minus 140. Play of the day, my favorite play of the day, it's that Mariners team total over 4.5 minus 120. Howard in that bullpen. Strong fade of them. Our strikeout under prop, David Price, under 4.5 at minus 140. Again, he's only hit that number once all year, all the way back in May. I love that some people found the Spencer Howard under 3.5. Rock and roll with that. Our home run list today, Mitch Haniger, Eduardo Escobar, Nelson Cruz, Joey Votto, Shohei Ohtani, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Let's go. Shit. Get that Shohei Ohtani home run out of the way, Kyle, in the first inning. That's what we would really like to cash in some of these nice little odds boosters. But thanks again, guys, for joining us here on a Wednesday. 2 more shows before the week. I joke when we get on here on Monday, it's like, hey, it's Monday. Before you know it, it's going to be Friday. We are headed on that trajectory tomorrow. Also, a big football weekend as well. Both myself and Kyle going to appear now on every Thursday here in the summer as opposed to Friday on the NFL football show right here at sportsbookreview.com. For Donnie RightSide, along with Jason Radowitz and Kyle Purviance, we are sportsbookreview.com's Major League Baseball show. And as always, good luck on those wagers tonight.